In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of anyone.
We've all seen that person that knows it all. You know that guy that knows everything? Well, that's not what you're getting here. I'm a know-nothing kind of guy, just trying to broaden my horizons. Join me on my journey of Scotty Doesn't Know. Hello, know-it-alls. How are you tonight? Cheers. Well, thanks you all for joining me in this new little venture that I'm doing. A little bit more by myself. The first episode of Scotty Doesn't Know. So this is just about me. Maybe my lack of knowledge, skills, abilities, and the betterment of myself through doing some research, having some cool guests, and just trying to learn something about myself through the process and trying to entertain you guys. I think that's always fun. I'm certainly a guy that can laugh at himself and enjoy a good giggle. I've been listening to myself, my own episodes, and hanging at the barbershop, and I still catch myself laughing and be like, I'm a funny guy. So it's always kind of cool. There'll be some beer drinking. There'll be some chatting, slowly lining up guests, but we thought we better get a first episode and give you guys sort of the Cole's notes on Scotty. So with that, I thought I'd bring in a Scotty expert, somebody that's been hanging out with me for a lot of years, somebody that's probably knows me better than myself. I'll bring her in. My wife, Michelle. How you doing?
Everyone. Hi, Scotty.
So yeah, this was sort of the thought process, like way back before barbers, right?
It was.
And this whole idea of Scotty doesn't know, and this inkling of self discovery or whatever. Because I mean, when we met, I was pretty naive about everything.
You needed to learn some stuff.
yeah, right. There's all kinds of good stories that we've shared on air, and I mean, right,
Some,
yeah, like driving stick.
Oh dear, driving. Yes, your driving skills were.
Yeah, it is, and I think from an early age, second child of two, so right, I have a sister that's 3.5 years older than me. Parents, dad worked, mom was at home quite a bit, she worked a bit. A pretty self-reliant kid. Played with myself, but right, I played with Legos, played with action figures, and I could build a fort or build whatever, and have this elaborate thing, and kind of play by myself and entertain myself. That it was enough. And right, had lots of friends, had friends over, but it was quite content. And we did lots of camping. I can remember that, being young, and lots of camping, and I don't know. And we've said on previous episodes, right? My dad was like a master scout, and I can't paddles. Like, I can't rear paddle. I can't steer.
No, you cannot steer.
I can't tie a knot to save my life. And I don't know if it's just I'm too busy doing my thing, or the lack of interest in learning new stuff. And then public school, right? I kind of skated through public school, had a good experience, enjoyed all my teachers, enjoyed most of the kids I went to school with, and had lots come home and play. And I went over to lots of other houses and saw other kids, and kind of sunk myself into video games as that progression would come. I remember our first like we had a real computer. We didn't have like an Atari. We had this thing that took tapes and lots of cool video games and lots of like Dungeons and Dragons. And you know who I am. I'm a
I
nerd,
You are. But
a closet nerd.
I think you were a closet nerd. You've definitely come out of the closet.
But still, I'm not a collector of nerdy things so much. Maybe a little bit.
Because I sell them all.
Right. You're not interested in that anymore?
Okay, it's gone.
Out it goes. But yeah, so it's like card games, like Magic. Not that there's anyone to play with, and I mean that's always the thing, right? Is if you can't find other nerds to play with, you just kind of lose interest and you get rid of it, and because it's just cardboard. But I never really got good at that either. Enjoyed the social aspect of it. And then we met in high school. I think we were discussing grade 11, right?
Yeah.
Because you did foreign exchange in grade 11. No, grade 10. Grade 10 for sure.
Okay, grade 10.
But you're right, and I just puttered away at.
Or was it the beginning of grade 12
that we met? I don't know. Have to pull out a yearbook and look.
I'm sure someone will let us know.
Maybe comment in the comments below. Let us know when we met.
When did we meet?
Yeah. But yeah, and high school, same thing. Just kind of a coaster or a get her done. So C's, B's, the odd A in gym class. But yeah, no real ambitions, no real drive, no real. I was athletic. I think I participated in every sport. I was no means was I the all-star at all.
No, but you were entertaining.
I was entertaining, like, right? If things needed to be done, I could be that guy. Like, definitely overfouled somebody into the bleachers once.
You did. I did not realize basketball was a contact sport until I watched you play.
Right. It's an intentional foul, I think, and got a technical but stopped the clock. And that was the idea. But yeah, so it's like, right. I think really probably the farthest I ever made it. And that's because nobody else participated. Is hurdles, 110 meter hurdles. I think the first year I did it in grade 9, I made it to whatever the one right before OSA is. So like CASA qualifier or OSA qualifier. There's lots of time off school. It was a trip to Ottawa. I think that was my mindset, right? A little bit of time off school, hang out with my friends. I was a big fan of that. We started dating in high school. What was your first impression of me,
Well, obviously I was
smitten
with you. Is that the word going to use? Okay.
Sure.
Yes. I thought, hey, and then slowly noticed that once you were taught something, you knew it. You figured it out. It was good to go. But there were a lot of things that made me go, oh.
Yeah, right. And
I just assumed that everybody knew how to change a tire when they blew a tire on a car. You did not.
I did not.
I assumed people knew when you're driving down the 401 and it merges into Collectors and Express that you had to pick a lane, not go for the cement divider.
Hey, there's a little spot there, right? Like an ice cream cone, like right before you hit the divider.
Yeah.
It's a safe spot.
Yeah, no.
And I was ready to get out.
Yeah.
And be like, you drive the rest of the way. And you're like, no, you have to commit here. Yeah.
Yeah. What else was there? There was a bunch of little things.
I mean, right. That was sort of the present ones, definitely when we were just dating before we got married. And but yeah, and then I mean, went into post-secondary school, didn't really excel there. Same thing. I just didn't click into anything that I really didn't find it interesting. And then if you don't find it interesting, you don't go to class. If you don't go to class, you don't get good marks. Yeah. I mean, I found you interesting. I'm very committed to you.
Yes, you're very committed to me, so that's a plus.
It is. And I mean, I spent a lot of time with you
At my college.
at your
instead of
college, which again,
yeah.
same thing, doesn't help your marks. But yeah, so I mean, a handful of years and some partial credits and no diploma when I was all said and done.
Very frustrating for me.
Yeah. We've often joked sort of like a little bit of completion anxiety on a lot of projects
Yes, that's my go-to phrase.
Yeah, which I don't like, but probably because it's true. Yeah, so it's that mindset of, oh, Scotty's got anxiety and or completion anxiety, and you just can't finish anything.
No. We'll get 90% and then
yeah, walk away and be like, why would I finish it? It's it got hard. And then we got married. Yeah, because I didn't know what else to do. Yeah, and same thing. We were very fortunate that we won a contest that paid for a good chunk of your engagement ring.
It did, yes. It made the decision to get married a little bit easier.
It pushed it forward, and somehow we threw down a date that was way early, and we had to go correct that because we were like, that was in print. And you're like, no, that date is not. I never said we were getting married on that date. But yeah, so I mean, that was good. So yeah,
I did. Yes, I do believe that was a good choice.
Yeah, so that was good, and got married and got finished.
Completed
and
that. Yes,
I did.
You did.
I did. I said I do. Which was cool, and started our life together. But then we had lived together a little bit before we got married.
Yeah.
And then you got to see my domestic skills.
Yeah.
So then that comes down to Scotty don't know laundry.
No. Scotty doesn't know how to cook.
Doesn't know how to cook. Doesn't know how to clean.
Doesn't know how to cut the grass.
Definitely didn't know how to edge a flower bed.
No.
And my joke was always, well, if I do this really, really bad, she's never going to invite me to do that job again.
He was wrong.
Yeah. So yeah,
I just made him keep doing it until he figured it out.
So yeah, so that kind of gets us through there, and I guess we figured out parenthood together.
Yeah, neither of us
had a clue, but
no.
we
there is no book on that one.
No, well, I mean, there's lots of books. I don't know if any of them are worth reading, but I think we raised 3 beautiful children. They all have 10 fingers and 10 toes. They're all their own people, and
yeah, I'm not sure.
Keep it at that,
because I'm pretty sure they all have the same parents.
Yeah, they do.
So
I hope so.
How are they so different? Like so different.
Yeah, I think that a little of that is to me, right? I would say, depending on how you look at them and how they've ran at life themselves, I think they do have some avoidance issues. We'll call it that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, right. I mean, right. They don't want to do this or they don't want to do that. So they just don't do it. I mean, like that. Maybe they picked that up from me. As I say too, like athletically, they're beautiful athletes. They all skated beautifully. They all ran nicely. The only thing I ever hated any of my children doing was I couldn't stand watching them play baseball.
Oh yeah, that was a painful sport.
But I mean, none of them are same as me. Like, right, it comes to practice, it's like, you could have been really good, or you could have excelled, and you just got to put 500 hours. 500 hours.
Yeah, they gave you the look.
Yeah, and I mean, like they talked about, there's that slap shot challenge, right? If you shot 1,000, was it 1,000 pucks?
I think it's 1,000 pucks.
shoot 1,000 pucks, you're going to improve your shot and your slap shot. And I think I've said that to all of them. Oh, you should go out and shoot some pucks. Nah.
And their response was, we play defense. We don't need to shoot pucks.
I guess it's not true. If you're out there listening, defensemen shoot pucks.
Yeah.
None of our children have crippling slap shots from the blue line. That's for
Well,
sure.
I don't know. Georgia might have a crippling slap shot.
Oh, she'd have to get over the fact that
She rushed
shoot
my
before
face.
shoot before she passes. Pardon me. So yeah, and then I joined the fire department shortly after we got married. That was something I actually really enjoyed. And maybe excelled at.
I think
I did some courses and passed and moved forward and finished my training and kind of worked up through the ranks there for a lot of years. And again, this is one of the big jokes, right? Managed to get all these promotions and push-ups and be in charge of training. And I managed to avoid getting my DZ license
for
25 years.
Yes, you have your DZ learners for
I've had a Z endorsement on my license from time to time, 3 or 4 times, because there's a test to keep it on there eventually, and it's like, fuck that test. It's easier to say just put it back to a G. So yeah, and that's where it sits. And as soon as they rattled the boat back at me, I rattled the boat back at them, and it's like less interested in the fire department now, would you say?
A lot less interest.
Yeah, but I got podcasting, so that's cool.
So now we're just gonna talk about things.
Talk about my feelings.
No,
that's good.
No, we're not feeling people.
But we could be. That could be something I could learn about one week and have somebody
put somebody else on.
Oh, for sure. You're just the Scotty expert. We won't do any group therapy.
I don't want to talk about my feelings.
I think group therapy would be bad therapy for us.
People might not want to hear what I have to say.
So kind of gets us here and doing this, and we had talked about some cool things that we were thinking content wise, and we were saying like a book review.
Oh yes,
because you all of a sudden took a liking to reading. I feel late in life.
Well, I just never had time before.
Right. Yeah. And you're a little less mobile now.
A lot less mobile.
Mobile. So, you're just taking a little more time for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Which apparently you're supposed to do.
You are. It's supposed to be enlightening and all those things. Now they say that you got to take a little time for you. And so you predominantly like a romance novel.
I do. I want And They Live Happily Ever After.
Not that some books don't do.
No. And I never read
You're
them
never
again.
happy with those.
No. They need to end in They Live Happily Ever After.
And you don't care on the genre.
No.
So you can have like colonial 1667 plantation,
as long as it's happily ever after.
Right. And you can have fantasy.
I can.
So they don't have to be human beings.
Nope,
they can be werewolves or fairies or aliens or whatever. As long as they live happily ever after.
They live happily ever after.
Right. So, and then my preference to books, I have been more of a sci-fi, fantasy. I don't mind historical dramas as well, as long as they have an interesting twist to them. I've been into that. So this was our discussion that we would both pick a book and then we both read it. So then you would pick something that you would, I don't know if we've said that, I think I want the other person to finish reading it. So it's sort of that mindset that I'd have to pick something that was good enough that you would actually pick it up and read it from front to back.
If it's for a book review, then you have to finish reading it because
you
have to finish reading.
But I'd also like you to enjoy it. So and I think, would you pick something like?
I would pick something that I really enjoy.
With the hopes that I would enjoy it as well.
Yes. The problem with my books is a lot of them are series, so
Right.
I've got to try to
Well,
find
book one.
something that's
I think you start with book one,
Yeah.
because I mean, I like books in series. That's what I'm chasing all the time. And you go in, I want a book that's more than 3 books too. I want something that's spanning.
Yeah.
A
lot of
not
mine are that way.
Yeah, not all the characters have to be in the book every time. Because I find that's sort of all of a sudden, if you're trying to remember back 2 books or 3 books, one main character running through all of it and then kind of sprinkled with some other ones that come back in another book, I'm cool with that. So that was kind of fun. The other thing that I was excited about for this in that whole book review kind of thing is I reached out to the book lady
in
Fallon Falls.
Yes.
So she owns the new and used bookstore on Market, across from the library. We were laughing. I talked to her today, actually, and I was like, "Oh, it's weird that you're like right across from the library, your competition." She had a laugh, and she's like, "It doesn't really affect business."
No.
I'm like, "Oh, that's good." So, and that was I sort of saying to her as a intermediate guest to review a book, and she thought that was really cool. So whether that'll be a recurring Scott, Michelle, and Book Lady, or whether it'll be Scott and a Book Lady, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, she's going to give a couple listens to some of my older work, see where I'm at in my canter and things like that, and whether she comes with books that she thinks we'd find interesting, or whether it'll be like a book club.
Well, she's definitely got more broad.
Yes.
So hopefully she'll pick stuff that we might not
pick, but still enjoy.
Right. Yeah.
Because this is my thing. I don't want.
I go to one section, and you go
Yeah.
to the other section, and we don't tend to.
No. Right. I think.
I know what we know what we like, and that's where we.
I think we both giggled at Shades of Grey.
Oh, I never.
It was terribly
did
written.
not realize it was a comedy.
Terribly written. But I mean, it got a lot of people talking about that. And again, there's something, right, that I think the average person has no clue.
No.
On the I'm gonna get the acronym not wrong. It's BSM S&M. We'll say S&M. That whole bondage thing and pain is pleasure. And so I mean there's a lot of little old ladies that learned a lot that summer. It's funny too, right? You're walking around and see people carrying that under their arm or pulling it out at lunch, and I'm like, you gonna be able to read that at lunch and go back to work? I'm like, are you gonna be hot and bothered? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I know what happens in that book.
Well, because you brought it home for me.
Yes.
So that's fine. So I was reading and giggling immensely. And I just remember you sitting at your computer. I don't know what video game you were playing, looking across at me going, I don't think that's a comedy.
Yeah. It's how you absorb it, right? And I mean, I like a book I can laugh at. I think sometimes when you have a giggle when you're reading, that's it's a good thing. It's a good author. It's a good
but that's all
chapter.
I remember from that series of books is you sitting there looking at me with this strange face going, I didn't think that was a comedy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that's an idea for the podcast. So same thing as if anyone out there is watching the first episode and has books that Michelle and I should read, sort of aiming at, I guess, that sci-fi fantasy / romance. I lived happily ever after.
Yes, please.
Post a comment and we might already own it. Or something we can go out and grab and read and come back here and talk to you guys about it and enlighten ourselves. And if it's outside of our comfort zone, mention it. Don't be upset if we don't pick it off, if it's way off our radar. I don't think we're looking for any self-help.
No.
This is our self-help.
Yeah, so what else do you want to learn about?
Well, I mean, I think still it'd be cool to get somebody in here like a mechanic.
Yes.
So we know a few people that have worked on our vehicles and a few people that are mechanics in town, some that are out of town. So that would be kind of cool is,
Where we have been lucky, like we've had very, very good
yeah, but
mechanics and
to me
people that aren't
though, I
trying
I
to.
go to the mechanic and I make that noise. It's going like wugga, and I'm like, I can't tell you that's the is that the bearing, or is that the wheel, or is that the hub? Is that maybe it's the transmission? I don't know. I have no clue.
That's
It
wild.
squeaks, and it took us forever with your vehicle. Had a squeal
Mhm,
and kind of a rattle, but I mean, it took us 4 times taking it up
mhm.
until like the mechanic heard or saw or understood what we were talking
Well,
about.
he finally heard it, and then it was still a couple days before
Right.
he could find it. But that was something so out of the ordinary that
Yeah, but again, for us, I mean, I don't know
no.
what that would have even been. So I mean, that's one.
Mhm.
Um, to the other side of that, car dealership, because I think that's the other end of the car.
Yeah,
Is I don't know how to go in.
you don't know how to negotiate.
No,
No.
right? If this can of beer is $5.50, I'm gonna pay you $5.50. I'm not gonna say can I get it for $3.50 because the can is dented. I mean, right? I know the beer inside's the same, and I think that comes from working in retail. I'm not a big fan of people that come up to me and be like, "Can I get a deal?" No. The deal is the deal today, and if you're not getting that boot today, and I mean, it's the same thing. I probably give too many deals because it's the same thing of where I won't ask. And it's like, well, yeah, you missed it by a day. It was 25% off yesterday. Or, oh, I know the sale starts tomorrow. It's 25% off tomorrow. So
Yeah, but that's because you're a nice guy.
am I too nice?
Yes.
Yes. So yeah. So the car dealership thing,
Mhm.
I remember TV show, and I'm sure it was the Huxtables. And he dressed Theo up in a ratty tatty old sweater with a hole in it. And they took, don't call me doctor. I'm not a doctor. And then we don't tell them we have a trade in until we get the deal on the car. So, right, they negotiated the deal on the car. And then they're like, oh, and by the way, that car right there is my trade in. So now it's like, oh, you gave me a deal. Plus now I'm going to get another X amount of dollars off for that there. And some guy walked in and recognized Dr. Huxtable and called him Dr. Huxtable and thanked him for, birthing his babies, and he just blew his total cover, right? But I mean, is that true? Is it true if they smell blood in the water, do they go, oh, there's a sucker? He's going to pay, 10% above ticket price by the time I'm done with him. And I don't know if that's like,
I think it used to be. I don't think it is now.
no. And I mean, everybody gives employee pricing. And is that really employee pricing? Is that really, you don't get a better deal than that? I find that hard to, I guess, if you're desperate to sell cars. But to me, if you're the dealer and you're selling me that car for, employee pricing, no better deal, all, there's gotta be like, what, that's, why do you want to be a car dealer other than, I guess, if you're good at it and you're making money hand over fist?
I don't know. We just started buying new vehicles, so
Yeah,
this is all new to us.
yeah, a few now. So yeah, then I was thinking, I got a friend or acquaintance that is a pretty good artist.
Yes.
So again, I feel like I can't draw anything to save my life.
Oh, you can draw better than me. I always thought you could had artistic.
Maybe,
Doodle and draw and
maybe, but it's funny though, right? You play a game like Pictionary or Sketch It, and then you're sitting at the table and you think I've got skills, and then somebody else comes in and their 15-second line drawing is like the Mona Lisa, and you're like, oh.
yeah, I draw a circle.
Oh, right,
or
right.
a line.
Yeah,
every time.
But yeah, so I know somebody that is doing art, and she's pretty good at it, and she's had a very cool kind of rise. So she was doing a lot of pen and paper, and then she did the switch to digital.
Okay.
So now, which is kind of cool because now she's posting on TikTok. She's got her own Art of Nichelle website. So then, right, but I think when you go digital, you can show a lot of that time lapse stuff a lot easier.
Okay.
Because right, you're almost recording as you draw. Where I think, old school, you'd basically put the camera behind you, put it on, you record the whole thing, and then you'd speed it up post production. So when you see them drawing the mountains and the stream and the happy little tree, but digitally it's kind of cool because you can show where the color, right, or complete erases and stuff like that. So yeah, so
it fascinates me, people that can draw. So.
Right. So from the arts as well, I was thinking somebody
maybe we get somebody to teach us how to sing.
Maybe. Yeah.
We cannot.
No. Maybe we can and we just don't know, or we're afraid.
No.
Right.
I've heard us. We cannot sing.
But with a little vocal coaching or like how to breathe,
I don't know.
You're hesitant. Because as I say, like, right, you listen to Wes. And Wes can hit these high notes, and I think he just does it because he doesn't care. And he's like, "Wah!" And it's like, oh, that does sound like, Jack Black or, Queen or whatever, right?
I think he can probably
carry a tune no matter what. Yeah.
Where I know I can't.
Yeah.
So
you never joined the choir in school, or they asked you not? Yeah. Everyone did.
Everybody did. It wasn't because it was a day out of school.
Right.
I normally just stood there and kind of moved my mouth and didn't actually
tried to harmonize.
So, no, I didn't hummed. Try. I just,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, a lot of the music nowadays isn't really music. Our youngest, Georgia, there the other day, that's the song. You were in the room when she played that song about doing something to Miley Cyrus.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just screaming over a chunky beat, I think. And I'm like,
yeah.
Are you guys getting excited by this song? And she's like, oh, yeah, they love this song when it comes on. I'm like, it's nothing. And I mean, I listened to a lot of garbage growing up. I still listen to a lot of garbage, but I like it. But I think I can tell what it is, and it doesn't hurt my ears.
Well, some of your music does hurt my ears.
Right? Well, that's, again, musical tastes.
Where, again, you're on one end, I'm 180 degrees the other way.
For sure. I mean, there's some stuff in the middle there, which is good.
Not as much as people would think.
No. That's okay with me.
So what else do we need to teach you?
I don't know, financial literacy.
Yes.
It'd be interesting to have somebody in here and talk about savings, talk about retirement. Those were things I was thinking of.
Well, you've gone and collected a large quantity of bricks. Are you going to get somebody in here for landscaping and backyard design?
I did pick up a lot of bricks. Probably both my boys could teach me more than I ever learned. They've both done.
They have.
Yeah, Brandon was like hardcore landscaping, stonework for several summers and a couple years, and Ethan's been doing some pool work and stuff. So he could probably.
So your boys are going to come in and teach you how to do that?
No, they hate me. They won't fucking show me anything. They'll be like, "What? You want me to come to the house? Want me to wake up?" No.
Okay.
So yeah,
you do have other friends.
I do have other friends. I have friends.
Industry.
I have friends in the business.
Yeah, you can have them.
Yeah, and that's the same thing, right? Is I probably couldn't frame a wall straight to save my life. So yeah, certainly there's those handy, like, I know what.
Ooh, find somebody that can teach you how to hang a door.
Right?
We need those in the basement.
And there's, I mean, the AR Scots would tell us that YouTube will teach you.
YouTube is wrong. I've tried.
Yeah.
That frame came apart like 3 times.
I'm not that
back in the box.
I don't know if it just doesn't absorb in the same way for them, or they're visual learners where.
Or you maybe just are overcomplicating
Me.
It.
I'm overcomplicating
You
it. Maybe.
overthinking
A lot.
a lot.
A lot. And then I'm nervous. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to wreck it. Because if I wreck it, I don't have the money to replace it. So there's that. I I watch a ton of people work hard, and I always feel bad that I'm not participating. It's like, oh, what can I do? What can I grab in there? What can I, But I'm more of a helper, I think.
Well, you were never in that.
No.
Growing up, so you
No, I mean,
know. Like,
I don't think so. And again, it's the same thing. I think, I guess I'm a good talker.
You're a good talker.
Yeah, which I think that's always been, try to be a good listener. I think that's 90% of being a good talker is being a good, right? You're listening and you're kind of absorbing that mindset. And sometimes I'm kind of proud of it. Sometimes it nips you in the bud too, because I sometimes will just sit back and listen to a conversation thinking, oh, they're going to be fine with it. And then when they kind of go and do the, hey, I've already got the answer in my head and be like, oh, you just got to go ahead and kind of do this. And they're like, have you been listening the whole time? And I'm like, yeah, I thought something would come up. Which maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I don't know.
I guess it depends where you are at work. Good.
Yeah. I mean, I even like listening to people out in public. And I don't want to interject my opinion, but if somebody's sitting there and they're discussing something that I actually have an inkling of information on. I mean, I could tell you a lot about work boots, not that I work in work boots, or clothes or whatever. So if somebody was talking about something, or if somebody in the lineup in Tim Hortons was saying their boots were garbage and what would I buy?
You could tell them.
I could probably be like, hey, you just need to get something with a toe cap, or you need to get something with a Vibram sole, because that's why your boot keeps failing, because I look at you and I know you're a masonry guy, right? Just certain jobs do certain things. And I mean, that stuff is always, I mean, sales is, I guess, have come easy. Maybe it was more.
Well, that's what you grew up doing.
Yeah, a lot of listening, and I was in it. And it's funny though, didn't enjoy the business end of it when I tried to do business. So, sales isn't business, I guess, or how you look at it. You have to have somebody running your business, and you got to be the salesperson. But yeah. What was the last one we said?
I don't know.
Rewind and figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure I know. I kind of curious whether it's a touchy subject or not. Religion.
That might not be a good one right now.
No, but I mean, right? It doesn't have to be one on the outs. Would you be like?
You've always said that you wanted to look more into
the Buddhist and stuff like that, where it's more serenity and internal stuff versus a fixed religion or whatever. And I went to church for a lot of years. I assume you like it, or you're taking something away from it, but yeah, it's kind of got away, and definitely not practicing in any way, shape, or form. But that mindset of is there something, right, that just that well-being thing. And I mean, that whether it's religion, maybe it's more
is that religion, or is that just
well-being? So I mean, right, maybe that's having that discussion with somebody about well-being or self-realization, but something in that mindset of or personal goal setting. Do you have somebody in that's an organizer or a planner, and what are your 5 tips for an unorganized person? And they kind of go, oh, if you do this and that a day, right, you have a daily planner, or you have a thoughts board, or you have a plan or a big plan, but all those things, or maybe that goes hand in hand back with the financing thing. But right, something like that would be kind of cool, I think.
Cool. Okay.
What else? You think anything?
I think it'd be one of the girls I work with put her son in at Moseport for race car driving, and he's just little. Like
Right.
he's, I think, 10.
So is he doing it like on a power cart?
I don't know what it is because
Yeah.
somebody came around, so we had to
Stop. He had
stop
to
talking.
back to work.
Yeah, we had to get back to work. But yeah, but he has like a fire suit and a helmet and everything, and so then of course when I got home and flipping through, yeah, they do like the defensive driving, they do the race car, they do the speed. I'm like, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Mhm.
I think like that. Yeah,
Some
exactly.
defensive driving would be very, very cool.
Yeah. I think I've
I
gotten
think all my boys could use
I
that.
think I've gotten better.
You've gotten much
Certainly
better.
better.
Yes, yes.
Um,
You still tell me things after the fact and make me
eh,
cringe.
they're
but
good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to have like somebody from like a distilling or a brewing background.
Oh yes, because you.
I'd love to learn way more about distilling
Mhm.
spirits. You know, maybe I want to be a moonshiner,
A moonshiner
or a bootlegger.
That would be fun.
But yeah, just for me.
Just for you.
Just for me. And I certainly enjoy beverages. So just learning a little bit more about the fermentation process, whether that's, somebody here in town. I think it'd be cool to have everybody.
Yeah.
Invite Scotty from Old Dog and Russell from over in Fenland Brewery and Keith from the winery. I mean, right?
Those are our 3 favorite places.
Exactly. And enjoy them all, right? Yeah, for sure. It's interesting, and it's definitely. I enjoy your product, gentlemen. So right, it'd be cool to figure out more about it, or why I like an IPA versus I don't like a stout, or how come I like IPAs, but then I'll buy one and it's just it's too bitter. Like, how can I look at the can, or the little thing at the beer store that says that it's got a the ABV and the bitters and the taste and all those things. Like, how do I find out, if I tell you that I like that one, and tell me what else is like that, or what the ingredients or the descriptor on the tag is going to be for the next one, so I can keep getting stuff I like, as much as it's cool to try new stuff.
Oh, we've had some fails on the try new stuff though.
I know.
What else do you need to learn?
That was leading into something else and I've already forgotten. Oh, you know, um, we've got an acquaintance from high school, world traveler. I thought maybe to have Mr. Dean and Mrs. Dawn down. They're not too far away.
No, they're close now.
Yeah, and just talk about that adventure, because I think we've mentioned them several times on hanging at the barbershop. They just,
we do like a good adventure.
It is, and I mean, right? They hit 6 countries in 5 months and did it on a budget, and there's something cool. I'd love, as we progress in our lives and retirement and the ability to maybe walk away from this life, to be able to do something like that, and how much planning it took and who really did the planning. But yeah, it'd be cool to reach out to them and see if they want to come down for a visit one night and just chat about it. So that was sort of on my mindset. Yeah, I'm sure there's, and then I just interesting people, like, right. Boating is still like, right. I have my boating license and boats still scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, I'm not a boat person.
So. No, but you like being on a boat.
I've only been on a boat probably a handful of times.
Yeah. Like, you're past the point of being towed behind the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. wouldn't be good for you.
It might break me.
Yeah. But I mean, good friend Chad Hinton owns, you know,
The houseboats.
R&R
Yes.
houseboats, and they're
That's my speed of boat.
yeah, and they're doing like pontoon rentals now. So just, and he knows so much.
I just don't understand. Like, how do you know where you're going? What side of the buoy?
That's in the course.
I don't have the course.
I know, but it's in the course. But I mean,
But still.
I've taken the course, and I think I remember you need to be to the right of the marking buoy. If you're in the channel, you got to keep it under X amount of knots. I can't tell you how many knots.
Like, I've spent many summers having lunch down at the locks and watching people that should not have been in boats.
Those are people that shouldn't be in those because they get a temporary license for the weekend and they have no clue. And this is,
I don't want to be that person.
no,
that
this is
people
what's,
point and laugh
yeah.
at.
And this is what stops me from doing like renting a houseboat or going out. It's like, oh no, I need to be like in the group of 6 people with somebody that's done it before and that's an expert, like, right? Or that they come and park it for me and then I just treat it like a floating cottage.
Yes, that's more my speed too.
Because
we do like to laugh at people, so I do not want to be laughed at.
No, isn't that funny how that works?
I don't mind laughing. I just don't want to be laughed at.
Do you think it's cruel that you laugh at people? No, you think they deserve it?
Most of the time.
It's especially when you can see it coming and they had the opportunity to stop.
They had the opportunity and they just chose not to.
That is super foamy tonight. That's crazy.
Did it get frozen? Is it at the back of the fridge?
Couldn't have.
Oh. What else can you learn?
Cook.
Oh, you've gotten much better.
Much better.
You're still a little heavy on certain spices, but you have gotten a lot better.
Yeah, a little bit. It tastes great. Think how much a ton is going to taste. Not so much.
Not so much.
But I mean, but I don't. When I do that, I'm just doing, and not that I'm not a very good chef because I never, a chef is supposed to taste it as they go, so they know.
Yeah, no, you just dump it.
No, I'm just like, oh, that looks good, and then I'll add a little bit of honey and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I'll just rub it all down and then times it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
So like, right, I'll pull out like, okay, if I pull out a roast, how much time do I need to let it thaw? And let's be honest, we're not like people that pull it out and leave it in the fridge for a day and then cook with it. We're cooking from frozen.
You can cook from frozen
so much.
I think
but
biggest
this is the
thing
thing
is you'll cook all the veggies and the
way
potatoes
too soon,
and they'll be all cooked, and then you throw the meat on,
or vice versa, and then the potatoes are still cooking.
So it's the timing thing,
right?
Which practice you'll get better.
Right. And then and I think it's cool if you have like a couple like signature dishes, like, oh, I do this, right? It's like the black bean burger.
The black bean burgers are yours.
Is my signature.
Yes, they were
vegetarian meal. It's good.
I believe one of the very good things that came out of your vegetarian month.
Yeah. Right. It's tasty and almost time to do it again, I guess.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. If you want an awesome black bean burger, give me a shout. Yeah, other than that, I don't know if there's a lot of things like, right, it'd be cool to, like, as you say, right, the driving thing. But I'm not a car guy. Like, right, our one son had the opportunity, his boss lined up, and they all got to drive like high-end, like McLarens and Porsches and Corvettes, and I'm like, you know what it's like? It's the time we won the trip to the Daytona 500.
Yes.
And we went down there and we saw NASCAR and we had the best seats in the place, and we got behind the scene pit passes, met the drivers, and I'm like, I don't know who any of you are. You all drive right. No, they're all making left-hand turns.
They're all making lefts.
What, and I appreciate the trip 100-fold. It was a wonderful weekend away.
A great weekend, yeah.
But what a waste.
Wasted on us.
On us. I often joke the lady down at Colleen at Arby's is a true NASCAR fan. And there I am. I'm just like, "Meh, it's a trip." So, but yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot of other things. Maybe be a better speller. I think I still or a better grasp on the English language. Where we were talking about aged photographs
Yes.
and the old footage.
The old footage. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and it
wrong, by the way.
It sounds great.
Just in case the viewers need to
Don't know?
that's not how it's pronounced.
But yeah, so I don't know if there'd be, I guess you could find an old English teacher and have them in and talk about vocabulary. And I think I try to be good. I don't try to double negative or double positive in my conversations. Like, it's not more better. I know that. And things like that. I know my spelling's pretty atrocious. Things like that. I'd still like to know more about technology.
Yes.
Can't set my Wi-Fi right for the life of me. Silly things like that, right? That you're like, well, I just don't understand. I read the instructions. I watched a YouTube video, and still only half the devices in my house can hook up to the Wi-Fi. Like, what am I doing wrong?
I don't know. I'll try to figure it out.
But yeah, exactly. But guess what? You haven't.
No.
Because your Wi-Fi,
Wi-Fi.
you hook up. You're the
I
half.
hook up. I'm fine.
High five. Yeah. So it's like, for sure it's that, and it that makes me laugh a lot, because it's like, yeah, just those little nuances of the little blocks of information you don't know. Oh, there's another one. And again, it's one of those tough ones. I don't know if I'm politically correct.
Probably not.
Or, am I an ally? Am I a feminist? Am I, in me being me, am I, those things? I don't want to be a bigot.
I don't think you're a bigot. I think.
But isn't that what people that are bigots say?
No,
Or that
no.
racist? I'm not racist, because
you're not racist.
No.
Just
I'm unsure of, do I say, Afro-Canadian, or do I say the colored person, or do I say
they're people.
That's what yes, 100%.
People.
Yeah. But but there's people out there that don't want to be referred to people now. And then we get into acronyms. And what's your acronym? I asked the kids if I was too old to put he, him on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia informed me that that's probably too much for you to do. Just leave it blank.
Oh, see, at work we had to fill out that question.
Right. So you are her, she.
Yes.
And this is right. And I've had training, and I have a base understanding, but it's still.
I get it, but I know that they need to do this because there are people out there that are idiots. But I think that people are people.
Right.
And
we both could be wrong. And I'm sure somebody that
is going
that's in it is going to say, but is that a topic you want to talk about? Like, does that broaden your horizons, or does that just muddy the water?
I don't know.
And this is the problem, is somewhere on here. Mm-hmm. When you say it and you're out in the air, I never want to hurt anyone. I want everyone to be loved and inclusive, and
that's it.
And not feel offended.
If you want to be called Michael, Michelle, he, she, they, Zir, Zay, just tell me.
Yeah. Don't make me guess.
But if you've been called A for however long I've known you and you change to B, give me some time to catch up.
Yeah.
I'm old and I've had 3 major concussions.
Right.
My brain doesn't work right.
Yeah. And yeah. I'm
not doing it to hurt anybody.
Yeah, no. So I mean, there's something to that. Because I feel like there's
in our defense, we still call the kids the dogs' names half the time.
Oh my gosh. I was hanging out with my parents, and they got everybody's name. the nieces, the nephews, the kids, your name, the dog's name. The dog's been dead for 10 years. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Ooh.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah. Some days I feel like that too.
Yeah. I got to the point a couple years ago where I think everybody should just number their kids.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
At least then we know we can count kind of by age,
by
where you're
height,
supposed
and then
to
you
be.
then your kids are like, God damn it, I'm 3, not 4. And you're like, oh, you're right. Nutrition, I think that would be cool. That kind of falls into cooking, but
Mhm.
I've often said, I'm sure I eat wrong for my body type. You know, should I eat as much dairy as I do? Should I eat as much gluten as I do? Should I, I'd love to have somebody tell me, you should be eating a Mediterranean diet, and then try to wrap my head around how I'm going to do that because I'm picky.
Well, and because we live in Canada and stuff doesn't grow here all year round.
No, but I mean, it all depends on how you do it. And I'm sure off season, there's ways about it, I would think.
Yeah. If
For a
you
middle
have-
income family.
Yeah. Not in our income bracket.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because
I often wonder about, the whole HelloFresh thing. But it's the whole meal. If you did it 3 nights a week, how much would you save at the grocery store?
You would.
No.
The pricing seems
Steep. Well, it's
to me.
$13 a meal. Cheaper than going out. If you were a going out kind of family.
We're not a going out
We're
kind
not.
of family, so
We're not. But we're also a piece of toast and an egg kind of people.
well, yeah.
Like that's easy.
Look around and can't figure it
Yeah. But yeah, a nutritionist or a meal prep that could, somebody that could come in and look at our pantry and be like, you know what, if you bought these 6 essential recipes, look at all the things you could do and like lay it out. And even the kids have said that if we laid out a meal plan for the week, they may be more inclined to help with the cooking. If you said, hey, it's Taco Tuesday, you can handle tacos. You're going to brown the ground beef. You're going to chop up the vegetables. You're going to get out the.
If I knew what we were going to have, I could cook it. I want somebody else to make those decisions.
I don't know. I think you got to lay it.
Even one night a week would be awesome.
I don't think we're in that family. But right, if you talk to somebody about that, like a planner or a nutritionist, or maybe they crack that nut for you and tell you how to do that, because obviously you don't know how. It's not happening. Right? Be cool to talk to somebody about personal training too, gym or workout or same thing.
Yeah, I'm not getting on board on that. Sorry.
It'd be good for you. Range of motion. There's so much that's not just, you don't have to just pound weights.
I know, it just seems like a lot of effort on my
right?
part.
Going for a walk. We don't go for enough walks. But right, and that's what I think all of them would tell you is, 10 minutes of exercise is a great place to start on a daily basis and get away from the TV or your phone or whatever, right? And we're adults. I know that.
I know that.
You know that. But man,
I'm an adult. It means I don't have to do
you're not making that choice. Which maybe gets you later down, right? As we slowly creep along to 50. If you said, at 46, if we just started going for a walk every day, maybe I wouldn't be using a cane or a walker. I don't know. But just those little things, right? Those have been my mindsets. I mean, I'm sure same thing as always. I bet there's a ton of people out there that think there's a ton of stuff you don't know. I once told my boss I wasn't into math. End of business. And I think it broke her. I think it broke her heart. I apologize, Lucy. And I was like, I love business and I love sales. But you know, if you're making the daily sales, you know, you want to make $20,000 today and you're consistently making 25, and you know people are happy, to me, right? If no one's complaining and people are in shopping, then that business is running well. And it's coming down to that whole, you know, calculating margin and all those things. I could probably have a great conversation with your mom about it, because when she ran the bakery,
Oh yeah, she knows how to.
they ran, you know, there's a business that's like a way tighter margin, I'm assuming, than clothing. But it's that whole mindset of, you know, how to run a business. And you know, heaven forbid we ever monetize this, like that would be cool stuff to know too. You know, I've always thought, you know, the third, a third, a third, right? You put a third away for a rainy day, you reinvest a third, and maybe if you're doing well, you can sprinkle a third as like the profit. But I don't know if that's good math anymore, if that's good business sense anymore. But no, exactly. So things like that, or how to write a business plan, or I almost need to relearn, you know, how to write a resume. Um, because as I say, you know, I feel when I left high school, I didn't know how to write an essay. I still, so much of it, I don't think I was prepared.
High school does not prepare you for life. High school prepares you for learning.
But I don't think I was prepared to learn when I went to learn more.
Well, that's because
Right?
you
No, exactly.
didn't foot the bill. I think is the nice way
Maybe.
to put it. So
Yeah, I wasn't that guy.
there, you know, when you didn't have to worry about how everything was going to get paid back,
Yeah, I know.
it
It changes.
it changes,
Yeah,
right?
you're not hungry for it.
Yeah.
You're just kind of doing it to do it because that was the
That was what
expectation.
you went to high school, you went to college, right?
Oh, you know what? Speaking of fitting the bill, thought about having invited Emma to
Oh,
come for an episode. So
awesome.
my niece
She will
is
teach you lots.
super smart. I don't even need her to teach me anything. I think her process has been so inspiring and so interesting. From her degree at Trent,
Mhm.
then she went and got her master's at U of A, and then I think she's going um, Concordia
I think so.
for her doctorate.
I think so, yes. But just even the path of how she got there, because I think when she started at Trent, she didn't know what she really
No,
direction she wanted
and
to go.
it's this mindset of, you know, how I'm wired is, you know, she's got a ton of English schooling. And to me, it's that thing of, when you're done school, what are you going to do? And, you know, are you going to go into research? Are you going to dissect, you know, the spoken word? And I mean, she's been doing such cool, stuff with technology, and sort of how, you know, English and the word is progressing in with technology and stuff. And I don't even pretend to understand it, or her thesis or stuff like that. But, you know, there's really smart people out there that are very interested in what she has to say.
Mhm.
And I'm sure it's important.
Oh, definitely. It's just something that doesn't touch our world.
No.
So we don't
And that
know about
don't
it.
yeah, and I just can't, it's that comprehension,
Mhm.
right? Is, you know, do you go and you know, become a professor yourself, and then you teach your mindset onto, you know, a new generation? Or you know, are you gonna, I don't know. And the more I talk about it, the more naive I portray myself as. But
Well, even when she was at Trent and told me what she was going through for, I had to look it up.
yep,
I've never heard of it.
no,
So I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's kind of cool.
yeah. And as I say, right, and she does really cool things, like almost, it's almost artistic, right? Where I mean, she probably doesn't do it anymore, but it's stuck in my head as really cool. Where, you know, she'll utilize like a needle and a thread, and she'll write words, and then she almost like omits the word with the thread, and then it has sort of a visual presentation as well, which I always thought was really cool. She's, as I say, she's probably well past that, but that's something that's stuck in my head is, you know, looking at that, I just go, oh, that's visually appealing and cool. I don't understand quite, you know, does it make a haiku when you're all said and done because you've taken some words, you've omitted some words, and some words are still there? I'm not going to count syllables and things like that after the fact, but I can still appreciate that it looked cool. So,
But again, it's not that it's just, it's out of your normal.
right. And yeah,
It'd
too,
be
it's
like going and living in a different country with a different language. It's
right.
not that you're ignorant, you just don't
No.
know.
Eh. And that's, as I say, that's, I think, a lot of what this is about is sitting down and talking to cool people. And some of it, opportunities to talk to people I just haven't talked to in a while, and not even, and just and catch up. I'd love to use this space as like my own personal catch up. And you know what? We know tons of cool people. Love to have the Nodwells out.
Yeah.
And they'd be a hoot just to have them on and talk about
I haven't talked to them in ages.
No. And what they're doing and how their life's going, and where they've moved and onto and stuff. And they're really, really neat people. Chris Hurstwood, I haven't talked to him really in forever, but same thing, to sit down with him and shoot the shit. I think to use this space as that as well. I don't think every episode has to be groundbreaking and different. I think it just has an opportunity of, especially to, there's some guests that you just maybe aren't a fit for the barbershop. And it's like, well, where, if I still want to sit down and talk to cool people, where can I do that? And this as my show, I think is that opportunity to talk to people that I want to talk to one-on-one. So
good.
That's always cool. Oh, even maybe find a bartender, a drinkologist, a mixologist,
yes,
which would be kind of cool. Talk about beverages and matchings and things like that. So, thinking reaching out to, like I said, a chef, but a restaurateur. So we know lots of people that are running restaurants through Kawartha Lakes and doing cool stuff. So
yes.
I thought that would be an opportunity to have somebody by. Know a few people that run not-for-profits. Trying to reach out to a couple that we know and smash down a time. We seem to be struggling a little bit, but
everybody's busy.
Everybody is. And I think too, not everybody gets this process, and it's not like we're a huge reach kind of podcast either.
Come on.
I don't know.
You might be in double digits.
Like for listeners?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I think I look at the total downloads, and I mean, like, right, for all the podcasts that we've put out, we have 1,700 downloads, probably a little more than that now, which is cool.
That's really cool.
YouTube is growing, so I mean, we're getting views there and people watching and things like that, and the more people share and like and comment and all those things. So I mean, I'd love to be the destination if you had like a good news story, or you had, like, you know how people go on the radio and they're like, hey, we're doing this, and to be that destination for people to be like, oh, I gotta, you're checking off places where you got to go talk about your event, and that, Sawcast Productions and Scotty Doesn't Know is a stop, because you know what, they've got a reach of 20,000 people in Kawartha Lakes and area. Like, that would be so cool. But as I say, right now, I think the cool people that are coming on are doing us a bigger favor than we're doing them. But as I say, it's little steps. I never thought that we'd talk to the people that we talk to.
No, you've had some pretty cool people.
Yeah. Which is, it's a small town. You know more people than you ever think you do. And I'm excited by the people that have been excited by it, or that have enjoyed it, or commented on it, that have laughed by it.
A lot of people I've heard laugh.
Right. And that,
I think,
to me,
was your main goal.
I think so. I think that I love that. To me, a story, you know me.
You do love a good
story. If
story.
I can tell a story, and it might not be 100% true, or I might twist it a little bit, or, I might emphasize a little bit something more on one side or the other. But I mean, right, if at the end of the day, there's a punchline and a great story, So love that.
And your stories have all started with a actual event.
Somewhat, there's nuggets always. It's not like I'm making a story.
No, you're not
I'm
making
not
them.
I'm not original enough to make a story up from scratch. No.
No.
But yeah. They've all got nuggets of truth in them, and bits and pieces, and you'd be like, maybe you didn't say exactly that phrase at the time, but that was the phrase you wish you said. Yeah, for sure. So we talked about a lot tonight.
We did. I think this is the most we've talked in
Weeks
to one another.
Maybe. I got vaccinated today.
I heard that.
Oh, good. So, right, we are communicating. Yeah, right. Lots of that, right? Live in the same house, but right, comfortable silence.
Hey.
I love comfortable silence. Bad for podcasting, great for a marriage.
Great for a marriage, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, there's tons and tons that I don't know, and I'd like to learn, or just be enlightened, or like kind of open up that horizon and learn new things and make new friends and get more stories. Is really what I'm after. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Nothing else you want to add?
No, I just hope that you learn lots.
I do. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodnight to you know-it-alls, and have a good one. And I hope we all learned something tonight about Scotty Doesn't Know. Thanks so much. And thanks for joining the journey. And we'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for joining us on Scotty's Journey. Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And join us next time when Scotty tries to learn something new, because Scotty doesn't know. Scotty Doesn't Know is a Sawcast production.